everyone, welcome to Morning Drive on YouTube. Rory McIlroy is looking to go back-to-back this week at the Players, and he's finished in the top 5 in his last 7 PGA Tour starts. So Damon Hack caught up with Rory earlier this week and asked what his energy level is living on leaderboards so far this year.
I feel okay. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, this is my 5th event of the year, so it hasn't been a really busy, first few months of the year for me. But it's been good. I had a couple of good starts in California, played well in Mexico. Obviously, last week at Bay Hill was probably the most taxing of those events. Just a real grind over the weekend. But I feel good. I'm excited to be back at TPC Sawgrass defending, and so that should give me some energy in itself.
Speaking of defending, no one has ever defended a Players' Championship. This is the 47th edition. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think the course can play very differently, not just year to year, but day to day. Different wind conditions. The place has the potential to dry up pretty quickly and start to play firm and fast. So obviously going to give it my best to be the first one to defend this title, and we'll see what happens at the end of the week.
This season seems to have some echoes from 2019. How would you compare your form now to your form last year at this time?
Yeah, I obviously the result, it's hard because the results have been similar, but I feel I was getting a little more out of my game then than I am now. I feel even when I haven't felt like I've played my best, I'm still able to put myself thereabouts. So I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's pleasing that even if I don't have my best stuff, I'm still, giving myself chances to win golf tournaments. So I just need to clean a few things up, and the last couple of days have been nice to work on some stuff, and hopefully I can get out there and shoot a couple of good numbers over the first couple of days and get myself in the mix again over the weekend.
To that end, in Studio AP, we've been having a discussion about whether your season is an A or a B. I mean, 7 straight top 5 finishes, but some Sundays that you probably would like to have back. How would you grade your season so far?
Yeah, I'd say a B. I'd say a B's fair. I'd say I need a win to have an A. And I've given myself chances. I guess you could go back to China in November or October, and that's part of this season, but I'm just sort of thinking of this calendar year. So yeah, this calendar year I give myself a B, but I'm hopefully inching my way towards an A.
Well, no matter how Rory grades his season, he's currently on quite the run. 7 straight top 5 finishes on the PGA Tour. He joined Tiger Woods as the only players with 7 or more consecutive top 5s on tour since the year 2000. So, Damon Hack, you were alone on an island when you graded Rory's season as a B. But would you believe it? He agrees with you. Fair to say you're feeling a little bit of vindication?
Just a little bit, and I've got company on this island. I've got Rory McIlroy, the world #1, and I'm not surprised that he gave himself a B. And let me tell you guys why. This is someone who doesn't want to just be a World Golf Hall of Fame member. He's already accomplished that. He's on his way. He wants to be one of the greatest golfers of all time. This is someone who grew up in Hollywood, Northern Ireland, chipping golf balls into a washer dryer, following every step that Tiger Woods took. He won his first 2 major championships by 8 shots apiece, and then added 2 more besides. He's won 2 FedEx Cups. He spent more than 100 weeks as the #1 player in the world, trailing only Tiger Woods and Greg Norman. If you look at the results in black and white, you say, yeah, that's an A. But you're talking about Rory McIlroy, who wants to be considered one of the all-time greats. I'm not surprised that he gives himself a B at this point in the season.
Cookie, without a doubt, Rory knows that he's capable of being the best in the world, of being a dominant player on the PGA Tour. But what does it tell you about him, the fact that he grades himself a B, despite the incredible success that he's had so far?
I think you just said it, that he expects better out of himself. And I can see where he would give himself a B. I would always say, like, maybe an A-, because in school, if you turn in all your work, you do well on all your tests, but you don't quite get that one perfect score, they kind of drop you down to an A-. But that's not Rory McIlroy. I think he says he might think that he's been playing perfectly, but he can't quite finish the last few questions on the test, then he misses them. But he's still kind of, okay. I can see where he gets an A. He's so competitive, or gives himself a B. He's so competitive. He wants to play the perfect golf shot. He wants to shape the golf shot perfectly. If he feels like he's not quite doing that up to his potential, he's not quite there.
Yeah.
above average, but not quite there.
Certainly above average. And Robert Darren, consistency is certainly something that we do not have to worry about when it comes to Rory McIlroy. But he is coming off a slightly disappointing weekend at Bay Hill. Do you feel like the momentum is still in his favor at this point?
I'm afraid it's going the other way, and Damon's momentum is in full flight. Don't worry about him. He's so proud of himself because Rory agreed with him. Of course he's going to be agree with you. He's not going to say, "Oh, I'm doing great." But I'm afraid the momentum might be slipping because of not just the Sunday at Bay Hill when he had a real chance of winning, but also the Sunday at Mexico and the Sunday at Riviera. All disappointing. All tournaments that he could have and should have been more of a part of. You know, winning is one thing, but at least staying in contention, fighting it out at the end. It's one thing to get beat in a golf tournament. It's another thing to lose a golf tournament, and he's lost these golf tournaments. So it does concern me a little just from a mental standpoint, but his golf game is still in full flight, and he's at a place that he obviously loves, defending champ. But the Sundays are concerning me slightly.
I think you're right, and there's room between winning a golf tournament and finishing in the top 5, and I think that's kind of the point that you're making. It's not just that he's not winning on Sunday, it's that he's not factoring in the battle on that back 9. And you're talking about the best player in golf, the #1 player in the world. His voice should be heard on that back 9 on Sunday. He knows it, and I believe we'll hear that voice on the back 9 this Sunday, Anna.
Well, that's it. We heard it from the man himself. Rory McIlroy would grade his season as a B because he knows exactly what he's capable of. And Damon Hack, you had a very valid point all along. A very good morning to Lauren Thompson.
Yeah, good morning. And I have a feeling that Damon would be turning that B for Rory into an A, especially if Rory this week becomes the first one ever to win back-to-back titles at the Players. Well, here's a look, though, at those betting odds for this week at TPC Sawgrass. No surprise that it is the defending champion, Rory McIlroy, as the favorite. 7-1 odds. Behind him is the world #2, Jon Rahm, at 11-1 odds. Then Justin Thomas follows next at 15-1 odds as we send it back out to TPC Sawgrass. Damon Hack, you didn't just talk with Rory, you also talked with JT on Tuesday.
You're right, LT. And like Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas has become one of the best quotes in the game of golf. And yesterday, I asked him to assess the highs and lows of his season.
It's been weird for sure. I mean, obviously, it's been successful. I've having 2 wins already, and I feel like I've had a lot of good golf as well. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of those missed cuts, and just not at least giving myself a chance, especially on 2 courses that I like. Obviously, Sony was a little different with the weather this year, but Riv is probably my favorite course we play all year. But, you know, it happens. I guess it's just a part of golf.
When you look at your career at this point, what you've accomplished, the FedEx Cup champion, a major champion, how do you balance maybe changing things versus just maintaining what you do?
Yeah, you don't want to change too much, but, you know, I think sometimes, at least maybe a couple years ago, I almost was trying to be perfect, and it's like, you know, well, my putting looks good, I'm not making enough putts, or like, you know, I'm driving it pretty good, my irons are pretty good, but let's get them a little bit better. And you know, I mean, sometimes you just got to refry your own beans, you know, you have to do what got you there. You have to just stick to what you know, and not try to be anything crazy, because sometimes it'll hurt you more than it helps you.
Was there a moment where you recognized that you didn't have to maybe blow everything up to be where you wanted to be?
I think so. I think my dad's so great at that. You know, like yesterday I went out and had a practice session. We had a great practice session, and I always just like having him or Matt Killen send me the videos, whether it's the putting with Matt or swing with my dad. And my dad sent me a couple videos over, and I was like, that driver, like, it looks a little long and across. He's like, you were driving it great. What's it matter? And I'm just like, you know, thanks, Dad, whatever. I'll see you tomorrow. So that's he's always there to keep me humble.
How about this golf course specifically? You've shot 65 twice here. You finished tied for 3rd. What does it take to win around a Pete Dye golf course?
I love this place. I think it's so great. If you could go through hole by hole, and there's so many holes where you have to work it one way off the tee, another way into the green, and I just think that's a true testament of a great design, or a very well designed golf course. And I think you just need to control your golf ball. You get the ball in the fairway out here, you can make a lot of birdies, a lot of short clubs. You know, you have some par 5s, more par 5s than usual than we play on tour. So try to take advantage of those and see if you can get it going out here.
Finally, I think you've given us the quote of the year in Los Angeles when you said, hey, you know, I can be friends with these guys, but when I'm inside the ropes, I want to make them quit golf. What's been the reaction to that statement?
It's been different. I mean, I understood that people were going to take it the wrong way. I mean, I think a lot of Alabama fans understood it. Coach Saban has a good speech. I think that's worth checking out against LSU back in the day. But you know, it's just my competitive nature. You know, it's nothing against the person. It's just I just want to beat them. And you know, you can add that second part in there if you want. But at the end of the day, I just want to beat them pretty badly.
Justin Thomas has, as he says, beat them pretty badly twice this season. His most recent win coming at the Century Tournament of Champions. And since then, though, he's had an erratic start to 2020 with 2 missed cuts and 2 top 10s, and his most recent at the WGC Mexico Championship. So, John Cook, you've spent some time around the most competitive golfers in the game during your career. Does JT's mentality sort of remind you of anyone?
Well, certainly when you get inside the ropes and you're confident with your golf game, you feel like you can beat everybody badly and you want them to go home. That's how you felt. Tiger did it with athleticism, preparation. Nobody prepared for golf tournaments like Tiger did. Not just hitting golf balls, but he was preparing so much that he also did it with intimidation. And that was the one big key that he had. Once you got inside the ropes with Tiger, there was something there. And for Justin to say that, I mean, he's supremely confident in his game and where he can go, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all get that way, where when you're confident with your game and you know that you can hit the golf shots under under the lights, under the biggest pressure. That's when you start gathering more and more momentum, and that's where Justin certainly has done that. He's up to the task, absolutely.
Robert,
send him home.
Well, that's
Make him want to quit golf. I'm okay with that.
Make them want to quit golf. Robert, not every player would maybe have the audacity to sit up there in front of the world's media and say that he wants to beat people so bad that they're going to quit golf. What does that tell you about JT and his mindset?
It's the mindset you're supposed to have out here if you truly want to be great. JT truly wants to be great. Do you think Ben Hogan didn't want to run the score up on everybody? Do you think Jack Nicklaus was out here trying to be everybody's buddy, or Arnold Palmer, or Tiger Woods? Of course not. It's the blueprint the best in the world have laid. Arnold Palmer used to tell me, when you're on the course, you've got to be mean. Not friendly. This was a man of the people. Yeah. Everybody loved Arnold Palmer, and he's giving me the advice that you have to be mean. It makes perfect sense in the context of what JT's saying. He could be everybody's friend. People like to play with him. People like him. But I want to run the score. I want to go full Steve Spurrier on you and run the score up so bad that you leave dejected.
I love that you bring up a football coach. I think Justin Thomas, having spent time at the University of Alabama, popping into Nick Saban's office from time to time and gleaning nuggets from that great football coach has helped him. Look at his comfort level alongside Tiger Woods. There's not a lot of players out here, even in the younger generation. Yeah, they look up to him and like him, but Justin Thomas actually picks his brain, dines with Tiger in South Florida, thrived alongside Tiger down under during the President's Cup. There's a reason why Rory McIlroy says that JT has that stink about him. He absolutely abhors playing bad golf and wants to break skulls inside the ropes. And I think at the end of the day, it's golf, but it's competition.
You mentioned Rory. Maybe there's something in there for Rory, because we were just talking about the Sundays. JT doesn't have that problem on Sundays. He's really a very good closer. You mentioned Tiger. His record playing with Tiger, JT's, he drums him like he owns Tiger Woods when they're playing head-to-head. So there is absolutely something great about that competitive drive and competitive spirit. And the unfortunate thing is, I believe you've either got it or you don't. I don't think that you can go out one day and just decide, oh, that's it, I'm going to be this killer on the golf course. Either you're born with it. Tiger Woods came right out of the crib wanting to beat everybody on the golf course, or you're not.
Just to hone in on this week when it comes to Justin Thomas, his best finish so far, T3 back in 2016. But what stands out to me, as opposed to someone like Rory McIlroy, is that JT is rested. He hasn't played for the last 2 weeks. Right. And we saw Rory McIlroy there get an absolute beating at Bay Hill because conditions were just so tough. Right. How much of an advantage could that be for JT?
I think it could be to his advantage that he didn't have to put up with those conditions on those really difficult golf courses. It's part of his scheduling. He's going to play. I imagine he was going to play at Tampa, a great golf course for him as well. Imagine he's going to play the match play, so right into the Masters. So a scheduling thing. So I think he's probably mentally rested. He knows exactly where his game is going to be. And what I like about him on this golf course is he's getting comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And that's what the greatest have always done. And that's where, you know, you get that supreme confidence in yourself, is when you can step up on an uncomfortable tee shot and hit just a pearl down there. That's when you know you wanted to beat those guys so badly they want to go quit golf. I get that.
Good stuff. Thanks, John. Well, you can tell us what you think in the comments and subscribe below. You can catch Morning Drive every day on golf, and we'll see you next time.